guys want a shot at winning a copy of Call of Duty World War II for the console of your choice for absolutely free, a couple of my friends and I are doing a little giveaway. Link is down there in the description below. Go check it out if you're interested. So as it stands right now, as of today, Friday, October 20th, we are only 2 weeks away from the launch of Call of Duty World War II, and I'm super hyped about this, and I'm incredibly stoked. It's gonna be the longest 2 weeks, I think, here that I've witnessed in quite a long time, and while that is something that is what is going to feel like forever, we actually got a little bit of stuff officially from the game itself, in terms of information and everything like that, as of recently. Now, this is gonna sound really weird, but on Wednesday, the beta servers went live again. Now, the reason it's weird is because as of right now, the game is certified gold, meaning it's starting the pressing to disk process, or I guess has because it's been gold for a little bit, but it's going to be pressed to disk with the final build of the game. Retailers should be getting their shipments within the next week, and overall, the game itself is finished, and therefore the beta shouldn't be getting stress tested, so it's an odd occurrence that on Wednesday it happened and went live for about 5 to 10 minutes. Whether it was a crafty little marketing ploy and intentional, or if it was genuinely just a weird quirk in the system while maybe prepping for stress testing, we don't know, but regardless, we had a look at the beta once again, but this time with quite a few more things, and we learned a bit just off of that. So while I was not able to talk about this on Wednesday or Thursday just due to my schedule, I figured today we'd take a look at what we could see here from this new, I guess if you want to put it that way, version of the beta that went live for just a brief moment on Wednesday. But bear in mind that once again, this is the beta application. People were accessing it trying to see if they could get onto the beta once again, and I guess that's actually a thing. I heard Treyarch joke about this a long while back, that people all the way up until the launch of Black Ops 3 tried to get on the beta just to see if they could get anything out of it. So I guess people actually do attempt to log into this on a daily basis, but nonetheless, it's this one time where that actually worked out. So bear in mind that this is the beta application, and while on Xbox you can preload, now apparently you can't actually access the title. People could access the beta because the beta itself was already downloaded and installed on their console of choice. Additionally, what we saw isn't everything because the beta is simply multiplayer and a build that is not entirely isolated from the full build, but with of course not everything implemented in, and the developmental process is not entirely finalized. So therefore, the full listing of things and previews can't be seen, such as an example we'll get to later on in the video is that we saw a new map as a result of this, but while we could see the names of other new maps as well in the lobbies, they weren't accessible because the files were not in the specific build of the beta. So hopefully that makes sense, but because of the reasoning that the beta went live and it was not the full build, we got some things hidden from the console beta versions that were in it, but we don't have access to absolutely everything of the final build. But nonetheless, let's take a look at some of the new things that we learned. From the top down, one of the things that I first noticed was that the menus are still the same from the beta, at least in terms of layouts. That being that it's more so a column-oriented menu instead of rows that we've seen previously, so it's a little bit more of a top-down structure in which you have to go for each column and then select and of course go through there within. During the PC beta, there were some leaks of an alternate menu that were a bit more block-oriented in design, very similar to how Advanced Warfare's menu selection was, but a bit more like a tablet or an Xbox UI sort of thing, in which it was more of a block mentality rather than a top-down in terms of columnar. Now, a lot of people weren't really too fond of the columnar design and hoped this was going to be replaced, but unfortunately, it seems like it is going to be how we saw in the beta. Personally, I wasn't necessarily immediately the biggest fan of that design at the beginning, but it grew on me, and of course I don't really necessarily notice it or care all that much now, so it is what it is. But the next thing is probably the biggest one that we got out of this, that being the map Flak Tower. Now, while this may be a new map to you in your eyes, it actually has been shown off before. And if I'm not mistaken, it was partially in the multiplayer reveal trailer, but I do know as well it was shown off definitively at EGX in Birmingham from September 21st to September 24th. Now, I personally have never been to EGX, but for those that are wondering, it's a massive expo for video games annually, similar to E3. Now, Call of Duty World War II was playable there as a part of the few-month-long press tour of the game in which Sledgehammer embarked on to promo the title, and from what I'm told and what I've seen is that it was there playable to all in attendance. It even had some showcasing in which was actually pretty overlooked by the general community, that they showed off the new Codcaster mode in a little bit of live stream, and that was actually one of the maps that they ended up playing on, giving a bird's eye view and also first person point of view of the map, which was really cool to see, and it definitely played out well. Now, while I can't show specific footage because as of now, it's all still embargoed, there may or may not be some links that you can reference down there below in the description that you may or may not be able to check it out for yourselves. Now, there were video files, but they have since been taken down, so unfortunately there's not as much to go on as whenever it went live to these few people within 5 to 10 minutes, but still, you can get an okay feel for all of it. But the map itself is incredibly symmetrical, which for those of you that love 3 lanes and are maybe traditionalists in the COD design system, you're gonna absolutely love this. You can literally cut the map in half with a knife and it'd come out perfectly identical comparing the sides together. It's a smaller map being compared to a bit of a hijacked Raid and Mayday from Infinite Warfare and Black Ops 2, all of which are decent comparisons and I think would make for great layout of a map. Overall, it looks like it's a lot of close quarter situations though, a bunch of overlooks. The one portion I did notice from some footage was that it almost had a 3-tiered level system, but I wouldn't worry too much about the verticality because each level kind of blends in with each other and it's not like you have to leap multiple walls while somebody's shooting at you to try and get to them. You can still take them out, it's just a little bit more height there, but you have to scale a couple of different levels in order to get to that peak level. So it kind of plays how we've seen previously, but of course, it definitely looks to be very intriguing. What I think is interesting is how players were actually getting to this in the beta itself, because it's a little bit strange, but there actually was the ability for custom games alongside public matches in the beta. So while it was probably apparent that those were returning, we got full confirmation and the ability within the beta to do so whenever this went live again. Additionally, we had a decent look at the new, more complete game mode list for World War II. Once again, it's possible that we don't have all of the modes listed here simply because of the isolated beta build we mentioned, but it is possible this is a good number of them. So these modes included Team Deathmatch, War, Domination, Search and Destroy, Kill Confirmed, Hardpoint, Free-for-all, Capture the Flag, and Gridiron and Core, with also Ground War being teased in this little mini update, if you want to call it that, to the build as its own classification. Now, of course, none of these really seem out of the ordinary because we've seen all of these in basically every title within the last 5 to 10 years, but War and Gridiron, of course, are new to World War II particularly, and of course, the return of Ground War is always nice to see as well. Along with Gridiron though, it was actually playable, which is kind of weird. It wasn't a complete build of it, and if you guys know of the placeholder texture in game development that is the checkerboard, and for those COD fans that might stretch all the way back, the best description that I can fit this perfectly to goes back to Global Thermonuclear War from Modern Warfare 2, and the bomb icon. That's the icon that's used for the gridiron ball, but instead of a full checkerboard, it actually had a little bit of an American football icon on it as well too. The goals and everything were set up in place, everything could be played out just how it was, with the goals being essentially half the uplink goals with half in the ground, half above ground, so it kind of looked like a tent shape, but it looked like a stable build where you could have the icons and everything, it would get points, you could throw it in, you could run it in, all that good stuff. The build itself looked like a go, save for, of course, the untextured icons, medals, and the gridiron ball, which was actually just the untextured uplink satellite from Advanced Warfare, but we've already seen what the full images of what the gridiron ball and everything will look like in the promo images. But as we've known the Sledgehammer to do lately with leaks, Condry actually took to Twitter to talk about this a little bit, about the footage that was being seen, and he called it Uplink Legacy, which I'm fairly certain he was just joking and taking this in stride, especially with all the things that showcased the American football icon, the mode was gridiron, all that kind of stuff. The only thing that I think could deter it was the fact that there are still the medals in there in that build, like DDoS, which is of course for uplink and not an American football version of uplink. But nonetheless, it is something that Sledgehammer and Condry commented on it, but didn't really say too much directly to it. Now, the only other detail that I picked up on from what I've seen came out of this deals with the addition of the kill to death ratio in the immediate match overview menu option in game. But I can't recall truthfully off the top of my head from the beta if that was in there or not. I don't think that it was, but it's possible I'm totally losing my mind. But nonetheless, we have a better understanding of a lot more now from this unsuspected leak, if you want to call it that, but I don't think that we can accurately depict it as such. But whatever you want to refer to it as, the beta went live on Wednesday for a few minutes. Players were able to hop online a little bit, not really play too many games. They could hop into custom games and everything like that to get some footage, but moral of the story is that the beta is live, we got more info, and it's hyping me up even more. So once again, as we started this video off by saying only 2 weeks away at this point, here's the hoping it goes by fast. I get this feeling it's not, it's gonna drag on, but nonetheless, we're gonna press on with the content, we're gonna press on into the World War II hype period, and of course, into the launch. So that's gonna wrap it up. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. Did you catch any of this when it was happening on Wednesday? Did you actually happen to get into the game itself, maybe even? And of course, let me know your thoughts on all the new stuff we got to see as well too. Flak Tower, Gridiron, all that good stuff was detailed for us in a little bit more of an accurate manner. So love to hear your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you guys are new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe to stay up to date with everything we have here regarding Call of Duty World War II. We're gonna be killing it with the content, so if any of it interests you, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a beat. And finally, if you guys wanna follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected me outside of YouTube. I practically live on Twitter, so if you guys wanna strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. But all that said, out of the way, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you so much for watching. Mine is an espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care, and peace.